want to share with you 3 strategies that I have found helpful in homeschooling with toddlers. Hi, welcome to Born for Homeschool. My name is Rachel Bourne, and here at Born for Homeschool, we share tips and tricks, information, and encouragement to simply support your homeschool. And today, I wanted to talk about toddlers and some strategies that I have used to help us continue to be successful homeschooling with toddlers around. We are in our 6th year of homeschooling, and we have had toddlers afoot every year of our homeschooling. And so I wanted to share with you some of the things that we do to help make life a little bit easier during this season with little people. And the first thing is to plan activities. And so today I brought out a bunch of our toddler activities that we have available while we're homeschooling. So I'm going to share some of these ideas with you, and I hope that you find them helpful as you're looking for ways to keep your toddler busy during your homeschool. So one of the favorites for my family is puzzles. And I love these big chunky puzzles that have few pieces that little toddlers can just play with the actual pieces. They don't have to do the puzzle if they don't want to. Those are so fun. I also love puzzles that don't have a lot of pieces. Keeping the puzzles age appropriate is super helpful in maintaining clean and tidy areas. Another favorite at our house is this puzzle here, this activity puzzle that you have different boards, the puzzle boards, and the kids use the shapes to fit into the puzzle boards, and my kids also just love playing with the shapes, and so sometimes they'll pull the shapes out and just build their own creations with them. And so this is a really fun puzzle that we have gotten a lot of use out of. Another thing that we enjoy doing that we have available for our toddler is coloring books, paper, crayons. Those are things that are always available for the toddler to use. Just this past week, my toddler got this coloring book, and he had markers, which is not my favorite instrument, but he had those, and he spent probably 20 minutes just coloring through the coloring book. So that's a great activity to have available. Also, we have found Water Wow to be a really fun activity for toddlers. And you put water in this paintbrush thing, and then the water changes the colors and it looks like they're painting. And so my toddlers have really enjoyed doing this activity. And I have really enjoyed it because it's just water. And if it gets other places, it's easy to clean up. So there is also a magic pen, I think, that you can find on Amazon or any of your stores, your local stores, that have, it's like this magic pen that only writes on specific paper. And so we have never used that, but I've heard really good things from that. So if your toddler likes arts and crafts and drawing and all of that sort of thing, you might check out the magic paper too. So we also like to have these wipe, clean, dry erase books. My boys love these. My girls also love it. All of my kids, not just my toddler, loves to use these. I have also found, my sister-in-law told me about using crazy art. It's called Extremely Washable, I think. The crazy art markers that you can actually just use on this, and they wipe right off, and it's wonderful. They're not as expensive as dry erase, and it doesn't make me frustrated whenever they leave the lids off quite as much. So that's a great activity that we love to have available here at our house. And then the next thing almost didn't make my list because it seems pretty intuitive, but definitely something that we have available for our toddler is books. Not just these board books that they can look through at their own convenience and desire, but I also like to have books. I try to watch and make sure that they're being really careful with them, but I like to have other books for them to just enjoy looking at during school time. And so these I usually have sitting by our basket for the toddler. You can't go wrong with having books available. And they might bring it up to you and ask you to read, and hopefully you'll take some time out of school to read a few books to them. But books are such a great activity, a great thing to have available for your toddler during school time. So another thing that we have used is trains, and usually my toddlers just play with actual trains, but my youngest, Judah, is just over 2, and he is just getting to the age and developmental stage where he can assemble the tracks and actually create the train tracks. And so he has been working at that, on and off whenever he wants to play with trains. So that's a fun thing to have, an activity to have around, is the trains. And these trains get played with from my 10-year-old or almost 10-year-old all the way down to my 2-year-old. So this is a really great toy that spans many ages. So trains are definitely a fun activity to have available and out for the toddler. So another thing that we do sometimes is we have audiobooks. And we have a few audiobooks. We also have just music sometimes that I play for the toddler. And you have to be a little bit careful with this, because when my 4-year-old was not doing school yet last year, I put on some audiobooks and some Patch the Pirate and Adventures in Odyssey. Those are both Christian-based stories that you listen to, and it was really distracting for my girls doing school. And so I have to really watch, if I'm putting on music or something like that, that I can do it far enough away and quiet enough that it's not disturbing the school time. So just a word of caution. So also something that we have available are games for a toddler. And this one here is just memory. It's just matching little wooden pieces that have animals on them. And he doesn't really understand the concept of matching things. I mean, you could, if I sat down and explained it to him, he could certainly match things. But I want these to be available. He plays with them. He looks at the animals. It's more of a manipulative, because I don't have to sit there and play the game with him or have anybody play the game with him. So just toddler games that they can interact with, that are durable and easy to clean. These are great activities to have on hand for a toddler. And definitely one of the things that my toddler loves is blocks. And he obviously does not spell things out with these blocks. Being the 2-year-old he is, he likes to stack them and he likes to knock them down. And so our family has really enjoyed having blocks around. There are so many uses for these blocks that my children have found over the past 5+ years. So blocks may be a really fun activity to have available and ready for a toddler to play with. Another activity that you may want to consider is setting up a Montessori workstation, and that could be so many things. Something to definitely keep in mind is, as you're planning and preparing for these activities, make sure that the things that you're planning and preparing don't require too much assistance or oversight from you, because you don't really want to defeat the purpose of creating these activities to free you up to focus on schoolwork if you're having to constantly watch or oversee the activity. So keep in mind the independence factor of whatever activity you're planning. So this, you could just put a tray and a pine cone and a leaf and a little toddler magnifying glass. Like, this doesn't have to be anything crazy or expensive or mind-blowing. A piece of paper and crayons. These are all just simple things that could help your toddler to continue to grow and develop and learn at the same time that you're getting homeschool done with your other kid. And the final activity that I want to share with you today that we have available for our toddler is Duplo Lego blocks. My 2-year-old absolutely loves playing with Duplo, and so they can build lots of things. This set came with like 2 little people, I think. I found these secondhand. I didn't just go buy all of this stuff. A lot of these things were gifts that were given or things that I wanted to invest in, and so I watched for either sales or secondhand. These are all activities that we have found to be a great investment for our family, for toddlers. I hope you have found these ideas to be helpful. If you have things that you do that are not listed here, be sure to leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know what are some things that you do that work really well for your toddler. And I'm always on the lookout for more ideas for how to keep that toddler engaged so I don't have to go find him whenever they decide to go hunt for snacks themselves or whatever. So be sure to leave a comment if you have things that you guys do with your toddler that I haven't mentioned here. And a couple of other strategies besides having activities that I have used while homeschooling with a toddler is to capitalize on nap time. There have been seasons where I have really used nap time as the time to get a lot of one-on-one school or a read aloud time or whatever that we need to do that's not happening because of a noisy or busy toddler. We have had to capitalize on nap time. So that's another strategy to use. And something else to think about would be if you can ask for help. And this help may look like just a sibling, that if you're having to teach one-on-one with one sibling, if you have more children, then you could have a sibling occupy the toddler or play with the toddler. This could look like a friend or a neighbor or a family member. You might find that it's really helpful to ask for help, to ask for someone who could come and just play with the toddler for a half hour or an hour. It doesn't have to be every day, maybe it's weekly or a couple of times a month, just to give you that extra little bit of uninterrupted time to focus on some school with your older kiddo. So I hope you found this video to be helpful. If you did, be sure to leave it a thumbs up. Thanks so much for watching today, and I will see you again in the next video.